Shalom, shalom, shalom. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, which is to say in the Paleo Hebrew, also known as the Lashawan Quadash, Yahweh, which is the name of our Heavenly Father, meaning He is, Bahashem, meaning in the name, Yahweh Shai, meaning He is our salvation to the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans here in the Western Hemisphere, and to the rest scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth who look like the other nations, but through the patrilineal lineage go back to the Hebrew Israelites. Observing the Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Observing the Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread, March 23rd to the 31st of 2024. Okay, now this is Leviticus 23, verse 4. It says, "These are the feasts of Yahweh, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their seasons. And the 14th day of the first month at even is Yahweh's Passover, which is a full moon." Okay, now the new moon came in at March the 9th of this year, 2024, although Esau said it was March the 10th, because why? Esau counts his days to begin at midnight, which is 12 a.m. But the Most High says a day begins in the evening, okay, pursuant to Genesis 1 and 5. Okay, so from when the sun goes down, that's the beginning of a new day. Okay, all the way until the sun, goes down the next day is a day, okay? But Esau, Edom, counts his days to begin at midnight, which is at 12 a.m. So he says March the 10th was the new moon, okay? But it's March the 9th because why? The sun goes down March the 9th at evening, and then Esau would, count that as midnight, which is the 10th, to say that that was the new moon, but it's March 9th, okay? And then 14 days from March 9th is what? March the 23rd, which is what? A full moon, which is what? The Passover, because that is the first, full moon of the new year. And furthermore, going to show you that Esau counts January as a new year, but a new year begins when, things begin to blossom, not when they're dying. So the new moon came in at March because March is the, beginning of, when things start to blossom. So that's the first new moon of the year. Okay, and that new moon came in March 9th at sundown, okay? But Esau would say it was March 10th at midnight. So 14 days after March 9th, when the sun went down, would bring you into March the 23rd, okay, going into the 24th, which is what? A full moon, which is what? The Passover, okay? And then after that, sun goes down at March the 24th, begins the Feast of Unleavened Bread, okay? So it says, "These are the feasts of Yahweh, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their seasons. And the 14th day of the first month at even is Yahweh's Passover," which is a full moon, okay? "And on the 15th day of the same month is the Feast of Unleavened Bread." Okay, so the next day you have the Feast of Unleavened Bread. It says, "And on the 15th day of the same month," verse 6, "is the Feast of Unleavened Bread unto Yahweh. 7 days ye must eat unleavened bread. And the first day ye shall have an holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein." So if you have the, wits, not the wits, but if you have the wherewithal to, not do any type of works, or you have that type of, how should I put it? If you have that type of, options where you don't have to work on that day, then you shouldn't work. But, we here in captivity, so some of us don't have that, leisure to have that opportunity to, not work on that day. Okay, so just try to keep this to the best of your ability, all right? The Most High, He understands that, and He sees you trying to rehearse these righteous acts. So He's going to look at, He's going to look at that as you trying to do your best, okay? So it says, Verse 7, and the first day ye shall have a holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein. So just try to observe this to the best of your ability. If you have to work, okay, that's understandable. But if you don't have to work, don't do any servile work, okay? And servile work is, where you go and you get, compensated for your work, okay? It says, verse 8, but ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh 7 days. Right. So in the Feast of Unleavened Bread, when we're going to read a little bit more about it, you have to eat, unleavened bread for 7 days. Okay. So it says, but ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh 7 days. So the Feast of Unleavened Bread, which is 7 days, you eat bread without leaven in it. Okay. And leaven is anything that causes the bread to rise, So I think you can look, baking soda is an agent that causes bread to rise. Just be, mindful and conscious of what you're eating for these 7 days, okay? Because you're not supposed to eat anything that has any type of, self-rising agents in it, okay? So you have to eat this bread for 7 days, and it can't have any leaven in it. It has to be unleavened bread, all right? It says, but ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh 7 days. Speaking of the Feast of Unleavened Breads. And the 7th day is a holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein. So once again, if you have that, leisure and afforded that opportunity not to do work, you shouldn't do work on that day, okay? So if you take that day off, if you could take those days off, you take them off, okay? And it may be a short notice, but if you can do it, you do it to the best of your ability. Now, this is going into Exodus 12 and going into the Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread in a little bit more details. It says, verse 1, and Yahweh spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, this month shall be unto you the beginnings of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, in the 10th day of this month shall they take to them every man a lamb according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for a house. Okay? So on the 10th day, which I believe this week would be, Wednesday, you have to go out and get you a lamb. Now, some of us don't have, the opportunity, or some of us don't have the, what's the word? The resource to have these lambs, to our disposal. So what? We have to go and get it out of the butcher, okay? Or out of your local meat store if you have, if you have the means to do so, okay? So go get you a lamb, from your local, meat store if you have that type of resource at your disposal. You go get you a lamb, and what does it say? Speak unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, in the 10th day of this month they shall take to them every man a lamb, according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for a house. Verse 4, and if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of the souls. Right. So if you have a neighbor, you can give it to your neighbor as well. It says, every man according to his eating shall make your count for the lamb. So however many that's going to participate in the Passover, if your neighbors are going to participate, make count for those neighbors, okay? If you're going to eat it by yourself, make count for that, okay? You don't want to go get a lamb that's, twice as big and you're going to be the only one that's eating it, okay? But if you got your neighbors and you have family members that's coming over to observe it, okay, then you get, a lamb or a piece of lamb. If you go into the meat store, that's, sustainable enough to feed for however many people that's coming to observe the Passover with you, okay? Now it says what? And if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of the souls. Every man according to his eating shall make your count for the lamb. Verse 5, your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. And once again, we don't have this type of, or we're not afforded this type of luxury to have our own lamb. Some of us do, okay, but some of us don't. So we have to do, and work with the best we have. So if we go to the meat store, the Most High sees us trying to make an effort. He sees us putting our, our best foot forward. So this is what, he wants to see, okay? So we're going to make our best effort, and we're going to go get the best meat out of the meat house to, to represent that male lamb without a blemish on it, okay? Now, some, brothers and individuals, they have that, afforded that opportunity, because they raise their own livestock, okay? But this says what? Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. Ye shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats, and ye shall keep it, and you shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month, which is the Passover, which is the full moon, okay? And like I said, the full moon is coming in this month, which is March the 23rd of 2024, okay? So it's coming in at sundown, going up until, sundown the next day. So the full moon is coming in on March the 23rd, okay? But Esau would say March the 24th at midnight. Now it says what? And ye shall keep it until the 14th day of the same month, which is a full moon. And the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening, okay? And this is all going into symbolically, Yahushua, he was that lamb without blemish, and, all of Israel, they killed him because why? They wanted him to be crucified, okay? But this is all, symbolic as well. So it says what? And ye shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month, and the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening. Okay? And like I said, most of us don't have this opportunity, or, are afforded this opportunity here on this side to, have their own, livestock, being, cattle and what have you, to kill a lamb. Okay? So we're going to have to go to the, meat house or the butcher house and, pick up a lamb. But nevertheless, we observing the Passover to the best of our ability, okay? Because at, some point we never observed the Passover or the Feast of Unleavened Bread. But now, we have, that opportunity because this truth is coming out that we know, things that we didn't know before, okay? So the Most High sees us trying to, put our best foot forward, okay? So, just do the best that you can. Okay? It says what? Your lamb shall be without blemish, verse 5, a male of the first year. Ye shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats, verse 6, and ye shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month, which is what? The full moon. And the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening. Verse 7, and they shall take of the blood and strike it on the two side posts and on the upper doorposts of the houses wherein they shall eat it. Okay, so if you have the lamb that you buy from the store, if you got the blood, strike it, put it on the side of your doors and on the top of your door, outside your door. Because why? It represents the Passover when Yahweh passed over the houses that had the blood of the lamb, when he came to smite all the Egyptians, the firstborns, okay? It says what? Verse 7, and they shall take the blood, verse 7, and they shall take of the blood and strike it on the two side posts and on the upper door posts of the houses wherein they shall eat it. Okay, so you put the blood on the two side posts and on the upper posts of the house that you're going to eat the lamb in. Verse 8, and they shall eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire and unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it. Okay, so you have to eat the Passover, the lamb, with what? With, it says, roasted with fire. So if you have the, if you have the opportunity or you have the resource to, grill it over an open fire, then do so. But if not, you could bake it in the oven, but you're not to boil it with water. Okay? It says what? And they shall eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire and unleavened bread. Okay, so you have to eat it with unleavened bread. Okay, so you have to make sure you take all the, bread that has leaven in it outside of your house, which we're going to go into when we get into the Feast of Unleavened Bread. It says what? Verse 8, and they shall eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire. So like I said, if you have the resource to, roast it over an open fire, then do so. Like if you have a grill, grill it over an open fire. Or if you don't have that, then put it inside the oven and bake it, okay? It says, verse 8, excuse me, and they shall eat it, the flesh in that night, roast with fire and unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it, okay? So you have to eat it with what? Unleavened bread and bitter herbs, okay? It says, and they shall eat it. Eat not of it raw, so don't eat it raw, or not, nor sodden at all with water. So don't boil the lamb with water at all, okay? It has to be roast over an open fire. And if you don't have a grill and you can't go out there and get a little grill to roast it over open fire, okay, put it inside the oven, okay? But do not boil it in a pan or whatever, okay? It says what? Verse 9, eat not of it raw, so make sure you cook it well done, nor sodden at all with water. Don't boil it with water. But what? But roast with fire, his head with his legs, and with the pertness thereof. Like I said, most of us don't have the resource or, the means to have the opportunity to kill a full lamb. So we're going to have to do the best what we can, okay? So we're going to go pick up, whatever lamb that we can get out of the meat store, making sure, it looks good quality. And we're going to, roast it over an open fire, all right? And eat it with what? Unleavened bread and what else? Bitter herbs, okay? It says what? With the pertness thereof, okay? Why? Because we had to be ready to get out of Egypt, all right? And we're going to go into that a little bit more down as we read in this chapter. Verse 10, and it says, and ye shall let nothing of it remain until the morning, and that which remaineth of it until the morning ye shall burn with fire. Okay, so burn the rest of it with fire. Okay, let none of it remain to the morning. That's why, don't go out and buy, more than what you're going to need if it's just you observing it, by yourself. Okay, now if you got your neighbors and your family members that's coming over, you can get a little bit more. But if you're just going to observe it by yourself, which I'm going to observe it, so, just get whatever you're going to get, okay? So you're not going to be observing it by yourself, because I'm going to be observing it as well. But, as far as, as many people that's in your household, if it's just you don't want to go out and get a lamb that's big and you got like nobody else, but you got a lamb that can feed 4 or 5 people. No, because you're not going to be using this to eat on it for the rest of the week or the month or whatever. No, it's just for this particular, feast, okay, which is the Passover. So it says what? And ye shall let nothing of it remain until the morning, and that which remaineth of it until the morning ye shall burn with fire. Right? So don't let nothing remain. Burn the rest of it with fire. And thus shall ye eat it. This is how you eat the Passover lamb. With what? It says, and thus shall ye eat it, with your loins girded. So you're going to have you're going to be like you're getting ready to leave, okay? You're not going to eat this, Passover, this lamb in your pajamas, It's like you getting ready to, leave, because why? We getting ready to get up out of this place, America, man. Okay, so you're going to have your loins girded. You're going to have what? It says, and thus shall you eat it, with your loins girded, your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand. Okay, so be prepared to leave. Okay, like you're getting ready to leave. Okay, don't be eating it with your bare feet, flip-flops, your pajamas on. No, man, take this serious. Okay, have your shoes on, have your pants girded. If you eating it and you're a woman, have your dress on. Don't come half stepping. All right. It says what? And ye shall, verse 11, and thus shall ye eat it, with your loins girded. So have everything on like you getting ready to leave the house, okay? And don't come half stepping. It says, your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand, and ye shall eat it in haste, okay? So this ain't, to sit around and, no, if you're going to observe it right. You're supposed to eat it in haste, okay? It ain't like you sitting down at a table and, laughing over it. No, because this thing, we gonna be on the move, man. This is, representing how you're going to have to be ready to leave everything behind, okay, in a haste, all right? So it says what? And your staff in your hand, and ye shall eat it in haste. It is Yahweh's Passover, okay? That's the Passover. Verse 12, for I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast, and against all the deities of Egypt will I execute judgment. I am Yahweh. And the blood shall be to you for a token upon the houses where ye are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you, and the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you when I smite the land of Egypt. Right. So you want to make sure, your house is you want to make sure your house is in order, make sure your house, meaning, when you eating the Passover, but also your house, meaning what? Your temple. Okay. Your body. Okay. So not only this is a representation of, the physical, but as well as spiritual. Okay. So make sure your body, make sure your temple is prepared as well, okay? So, you don't be plagued with these plagues that's getting ready to come to Egypt, all right? Because it's all spiritual as well, okay? So not only do you put the blood on the, side post of your door and on the upper post, but, make sure your house, meaning your temple, is, prepared as well, okay? Because Yahweh came and he died on the cross, him representing that unblemished lamb, he died on the cross for us, which was that, symbolic as striking the blood on the post, so that those of us who believe, that death spirit is going to pass over us as well. But for those who don't believe, speaking of the Israelites who had the opportunity, they're going to, go down alongside the rest of the Egyptians, okay? Speaking of the Americans, these Americans here in Babylon the Great, because why? America is going to get, annihilated by the way of those missiles, okay? So we want to make sure our house is in order, and we want to make sure that, the unblemished lamb that Yahweh was, that he died on the cross for us, that we use it and exercise it to the best of our abilities, okay? So it's also represents in the spiritual form that what? We want to make sure that, we have, the armor of the Most High on us, okay? Which is those two side posts and the upper post that we struck with the blood of the Lamb. We also want to have that on us as well, okay? Now it says what? 12, for I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast, and against all the deities of Egypt I will execute judgment. I am Yahweh. 13, and the blood shall be to you for a token upon the houses where ye are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you, and the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you, when I smite the land of Egypt. And he's getting ready to smite the land of Egypt, which is Babylon the Great, which is America, okay? So you want to make sure, you got everything in order and you doing everything you're supposed to, so he's going to pass over you, okay? Because this is all symbolic as well, all right? 14, this is the Feast of Unleavened Bread, which is following the next day. It says what? And this day shall be unto you for a memorial, and ye shall keep it a feast to Yahweh throughout your generations. Ye shall keep it a feast by an ordinance forever. 7 days shall ye eat unleavened bread. Even the first day you shall put away leaven out of your houses. Okay? So you're supposed to take out all the leavened bread that's out of your houses. Okay? This means your physical house as well as your spiritual house, which is your temple. So get rid of all the leavened bread out of your temple as well. Okay? Anything that you've been doing that doesn't, sit right with the Most High, you need to get rid of. Okay? Because this is also, coming as in the spiritual form as well. So if you've been, doing things that you shouldn't be doing, This is the time to repent. This is the beginning of the new year, okay? So what? It says what? 7 days shall, let me go back up. Was that 14? 15. 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread. Even the first day ye shall put away leaven out of your houses. For whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day until the seventh day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel. 16. And in the first day there shall be a holy convocation, and in the seventh day there shall be a holy convocation to you. No manner of work shall be done in them, save that which every man must eat, that only may be done of you. So only the work that needs to be done for the, cooking of the unleavened bread could be done. Okay, you're supposed to treat it like a Sabbath. You're not supposed to do any work on this day, on the first day or on the seventh day. Okay, it is a holy convocation. All right. 17. And ye shall observe the feast of unleavened bread, for in this selfsame day have I brought your armies out of the land of Egypt. Therefore shall ye observe this day in your generations by an ordinance forever. Okay? In the first month, on the 14th day of the month at evening, ye shall eat unleavened bread until the 21st day of the month at evening. 7 days shall there be no leaven found in your houses. For whosoever eateth that which is leavened, even that soul shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether he be a stranger or born in the land. Ye shall eat nothing leavened. In all your habitations shall ye eat unleavened bread. Right. So we supposed to eat unleavened bread for those 7 days, okay? And on the Passover, you're supposed to eat unleavened bread as well. So you need to get, all the leaven out of your house, prior to the Passover and after the Passover, okay? So if you have, bread in your house, that you're thinking about making a sandwich, you have to get rid of that, okay? If you have cakes, breads, or anything of that, magnitude that has leaven in it, you need to get rid of that out of your house, okay? Along with your temple. If you, doing things that you shouldn't do, you need to get the leaven out of your temple as well, out of your house as well, okay? It says, ye shall eat nothing leavened in all your habitations. Shall ye eat unleavened bread. So you have to go out and find things, that has no leaven in it, unleavened. I know some tortillas doesn't have unleavened bread. Doesn't have leaven in a bread or no leaven agents, so you have to be aware of the things that you buy for those 7 days, that they have no type of leaven agents. Baking soda, I believe is the main leaven agent that they put in most of our food that we eat today. So just look, do a little research, Google what has leaven in it, okay? It says, ye shall eat nothing. 20. Ye shall eat nothing leavened. In all your habitations shall ye eat unleavened bread. Okay, and I believe it says, then Moses called for all the elders of Israel and said unto them, draw out and take you a lamb according to your families and kill the Passover. And ye shall take a bunch of hyssop and dip it in the blood that is in the basin and strike the lintel and the 2 side posts with blood that is in the basin. And none of you shall go out at the door of his house until the morning. Okay, so don't go outside the door. Once you strike the lintels, the 2 side posts in the top, you're not to go outside until the morning, okay? Let's read that again. It says, and you should take a bunch of hyssop and dip it in the blood that is in the basin and strike the lintel and the 2 side posts with the blood that is in the basin, and none of you shall go out at the door of his house until the morning, okay? So once you strike the doorposts of your house, stay inside. Although you're supposed to be prepared and have your loins girded and your shoes on your feet, you don't go outside the house, okay? Because why? It's symbolic of Yahweh's passing over. You don't want to be out when he's passing over, when he's sending that death angel, okay? So that is the Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread, okay? So with that being said, Matter of fact, let's go to Judges 5:11. Because we just trying to do the best of our ability, okay? We trying to rehearse righteous acts to the best of our abilities. Judges 5:11 says, they that are delivered from the noise of archers and the places of drawn waters, there shall they rehearse the righteous acts of Yahweh. Okay, so we just trying to rehearse these righteous acts to the best of our ability, okay? Because at one point in time, we had no clue, okay, just what a Passover was. We thought it was, Easter when you go out and, you hunt for eggs and things of that magnitude. But now we have a better understanding, okay? It says what? There they shall rehearse the righteous acts of Yahweh, even the righteous acts towards the inhabitants of his village in Israel. Then shall the people of Yahweh go down to the gates. So we just rehearsing the righteous acts to the best of our abilities, okay? So the Most High, he knows your heart, your mind, so he knows whether or not, you're trying to uphold these laws, statutes, commandments to the best of your abilities and keep these feast days to the best of your knowledge as well, okay? So just do the best that you can, and he sees that, all right? So now with that being said, let's go to 1 Peter 5 and verse 8, and let's close out from there. It reads, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. Right. And that's the whole point of us, getting our houses, our temples in order, and Yahweh Shai coming to die on the cross for us, representing that, unblemished lamb. Okay. That what? His blood is going to be for those of us who are of the elect, is going to be what, have us have that death spirit to be passed over us, okay? But what? 2/3 of our people, they're not going to have their houses in order, their temples in order, and they're going to what? They're going to suffer that same, judgment along with the rest of these Egyptians, these Americans, these Babylonians, okay? So they're going to get taken out, okay? When Yahweh sends that death spirit, he's going to take out 2/3 of our people along with the rest of these Egyptians, okay? Because why? When they had the chance to find him and to seek him, they did not seek him, okay? So not only is this Passover, spiritually, but it's also to, get you prepared, all right? Because why? Like we read, hey, the Most High is going to send, that death spirit, to take out all the Egyptians, which is these Americans, and those that are right along with them, that's, joining hand in hand with them. They're going to get the same fate as well, okay? Because they didn't, utilize, Yahweh Shai's sacrifice for us as being that unblemished lamb, okay? They didn't sacrifice. They didn't put the, the blood on their two side posts and on their upper post, which is their temple, which is their body, okay? They didn't put the armor of the Most High. They didn't have the armor of the Most High on, okay? And the Most High Yahweh is going to allow, what we read, he's going to allow that death spirit to pass over the land of Egypt, all right? And things are getting ready to turn up. So you want to make sure you got that, the armor of the Most High on you, all right? So that's the Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread. And with that being said, I pray someone was edified through this lesson. And until the next time, if it be the good Lord's will, stay strong, stay in the faith. We almost home. Shalom.